Hi, I'm Ian, a professional novice amateur rider with just a few years of adventure riding under my belt. I've taken rider's endorsement classes, I've had a few friends show me the ropes, and I've watched a ton of YouTube videos on how to ride this thing. What I'm about to show you is so simple that I guess people just think you're gonna figure it out on your own. Maybe I'm just a slow learner. And maybe you already know some of these, or maybe you're seeing them for the first time now. And to be honest, I'm a little bit upset that nobody showed me these things sooner when I was first starting out. I'm gonna tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, tips or tricks I wish somebody would have taught me when I was first starting out. And because this is a learning experience for all of us, if you guys have any tips or tricks or ideas, anything that I missed, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Go ahead, post a comment, teach me something, and let's learn together. Okay, first thing. This is the whole reason I made this video. I was thinking about this the other day while riding on some fresh, loose gravel. It was kind of terrifying, and I had to remind myself to do it. Then I thought, why didn't somebody show me this sooner? If this is so useful, what other things do I wish someone else had taught me when I was starting out? You see, the other day while I was riding on that fresh, loose gravel, I was losing confidence in the bike's traction, and I noticed that I was gripping the bike's bars to death. I mean, white knuckles, tingling fingers, all puckered up. My level of enjoyment while riding is directly linked to my level of confidence, and when I start thinking about losing control and riding off a cliff, as it turns out, I get a little bit nervous. That's when I reminded myself to relax my grip on the bars and pinch the bike with my legs.
Relax.
Whether sitting or standing, this one concept instantly helps my riding confidence off-road. The worst thing you can do in a situation with loose gravel or loose dirt is to overreact and make a sudden, jerky movement. If you give your bars a hard turn or stab the front brakes or jerk the throttle, you're almost certainly going down. So take a chill pill, relax your arms, pinch the tank with your knees. I literally repeat it over and over in my head when I'm starting to notice that my fingers are going numb. Light with the hands, tight with the knees. Light with the hands, tight with the knees. As soon as you improve your grip by loosening up a little bit, using less hands and more knees, you'll notice your confidence goes way up. And once your confidence goes up, you'll start enjoying your ride so much more. So now you know, if you're on soft dirt, loose gravel, or in a questionable situation at speed, don't let your hands fall asleep because of your death grip in the bars and you're nervous. Your bike probably came straight from the factory, all set up and dialed. For a 154-pound, 5'7" rider, and if this is you, congratulations. Your bike most certainly fits you perfectly. But for the rest of us, pay attention. Japanese and European bikes are just simply not designed around my 6'4" tall, 250-pound frame consisting mostly of pure dormant muscle, so I need to compensate. And for me, this means adjusting my bars forward, giving them a lift kit, twisting the controls down for both hands and for feet, lower and wider pegs that hold my size 14s with a little bit better point loading for standing, and popping that seat up into the high position. Make sure you set your controls up in a position that's comfortable for both sitting and standing. You're probably going to be doing both on an adventure bike. And don't forget to dial or respring your suspension. Now, setting up your motorcycle is just like adjusting the seat and steering wheel when you get in your car, or getting your bicycle dialed so you can actually pedal efficiently. Just kidding. We ride motorcycles, not bicycles, you dork. Just because the dealer set up your bike does not mean they set it up for you. Feel empowered to adjust, dial in, and customize your bike for you. Okay, I went over this one in a previous video, but I really want to drive this point home because it's a game changer for me. And again, I wish somebody would have shown me this much sooner. It really sucks the first few times and I actually hated it, but YouTube video after YouTube video from riders and channels that I really look up to kept telling me to do this. So I stuck with it and now I'm telling you to do it. After learning this one, I can't not do it now. It feels weird when I don't do it. I'm talking about covering the controls with 1 or 2 fingers. This gives you the reaction times that are split seconds faster without overreacting, and helps you to be way more precise, and it helps you hang on for dear life all at the same time. On the right hand, cover the brake with one finger. And this does three things. It helps give your throttle hand some fulcrum, so when you twist the throttle, you're not losing it. It allows for one finger's worth of braking pressure, so you don't accidentally overreact and grab too much brake. And it still lets me use 3 fingers on the bar for grip and control. On the left side, I use 2 fingers on the clutch. Some people use 1, I use 2. This is my insurance policy if I rev too high. And it also lets me feather the clutch and hang on. This will not only help you off-road and on the gravel, but also on pavement. Super important. If you want more info on this one, check out the video right up here somewhere, where I go into more detail covering the controls. Oh boy, this one's sure to cause some sword fights in the comments section, and I actually really enjoy reading your guys' comments and thoughts down there. Even if you completely disagree with me, be sure to let me know, because I'm always learning something new. Okay. This one goes against a lot of advice out there, but here it is. And it's not to stand up more, but the exact opposite. Sit more off-road. I know. Standing like a prairie dog on your adventure steed looks and feels super cool. But park that booty, and I'll explain why. On a 300-mile day, where you might have even lifted your 500-pound adventure bike a couple of times from taking a dirt nap, standing that entire time will make 300 miles feel like 3,000 miles. Here's my simple rule. If I'm going over a jump, a bump, or anything sketchy, yeah, stand up, absolutely stand up. But for the boring stuff, including on just regular-ass gravel or well-packed off-road, it's okay to sit. I give you permission. You have my blessing. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying never stand, but my advice is don't think because you bought an adventure bike that you have to post up on the bow like you're in the movie Titanic every second you're off the tar. Here's a pro tip. If you're riding with a bunch of buddies, ride in the back. They'll never know you're sitting, and if you ride in the back, you get a sneak peek at how big and gnarly those bumps and jumps are, or anything sketchy, by watching your buddy hit it first. I stand up when I pee and I sit when I ride, when appropriate. Well, I always stand when I pee every time. Never mind. You do you. You do whatever you want to do. You can stand or sit, I don't care. All right, enough of that. Now I spent a full 6 months with just my thoughts in my helmet. I would talk out loud, sing my own songs, and even think I was starting to hear things or things talking to me on longer rides just from the wind noise. Until one day I bought a Cardo Bluetooth system and installed it in my helmet, and it changed everything. No longer was I trying to will Sam into turning off his turn signals with my mind. I could just say, hey Sam, you planning on turning up here? And his signal would instantly turn off. I could make and take phone calls while riding, and the person on the other end would never believe I was talking and riding at the same time. I listened to my music or sometimes the radio, but most importantly, I could now have conversations about our ride that would improve safety and increase fun. When we were both physically exhausted towards the end of a ride, instead of relying on body language or just continuing to follow each other like lemmings, I could say, hey man, I'm gonna keep going if you want, but I'm starting to get tired. Or, hey, I think we missed the turn back there. I'm pretty sure this is a dead end. It's not just a fancy music player. Well, I guess it's that too, but to be able to warn, encourage, explain, and understand my riding buddy has improved the quality of my riding experience 5 to 10 times easily. If you don't have a Bluetooth communicator, I highly recommend it. There, now someone's told you. You can no longer say, I wish somebody told me on this one. So this brings me to my last thing, and I'm a little bit OCD about this one. In fact, I'm gonna confess it's one of my weird quirks, and if you've ever seen any footage of me riding, especially on the road for a long time, you've probably noticed it. I'm terrified of having a car pull out in front of me because I've left my turn signal on. So I'm constantly pressing the turn signal cancel button. This bike doesn't have turn signal canceling automatically, so it's up to me to do it. And I'm doing it like 2 to 3 times every 5 minutes subconsciously. I've even seen myself doing it while editing videos. I try to cut that part out, but it's usually not that noticeable. It's just a thumb going up and hitting the button a few times. I guess it's my safety blanket of sorts. I'm very vigilant about watching what other drivers are doing, and literally sending mixed signals could be the end of you. You certainly don't need to mash the turn indicator cancel button all red long like I do, but you absolutely should make sure that your blinker is off if you're not turning. It's very confusing. They're easy to leave on a motorcycle. Most drivers are texting, eating, drinking, messing around with the radio, singing along, or dozing off and doing literally everything except driving the damn car these days. Unfortunately, the 1 millisecond of attention that you get from that driver, if they even see you, could be your last. Don't give them a reason to pull out in front of you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, or maybe you've even shared a tip or trick below in the comments, and I hope the next new rider getting into adventure riding finds this video and it can help them in some way. Last but certainly not least, my final thought for you today: the only bad rides I've ever had were the ones I didn't go on. Get out there, drop the excuses, and go have fun. Thanks for watching. Happy squatching. I wonder if you guys can hear the geese or not. They are up in the sky. I'm going to shoot a crow. I'm going to shoot you, crow. What in the world? Got freaking helicopters, huh? Remember not only to give the bike gentle and smooth input, so remember when you're off-road and the things get,